Yo, what's up, guys? Carter today on our YouTube video. And very big patch. Honestly, low key, his league saved because Zed jungle's dead. Apparently, Jace jungle is just not good anymore. Dusk and Dawn, all the Dusk and Dawn abusers nerfed. Are we not eating good this patch? I feel like champs like Kha'zix will be stronger. Um, Even Kindra will be stronger because she did struggle against some of the folk clearers. But the thing is, I mean, there's some new demons coming back on the Rift, so maybe we'll see. I mean, just for the people who are watching for Kindred Kha'Zix, I think it's a pretty good patch. Overall, I might become a little Nefiri enjoyer. This is our hardest counter as Kha'Zix, other than like Poppy, so I might need to ban this if you're a Kha'Zix player. Um, but yeah, might be a Nefiri enjoyer, might be a Hecarim enjoyer. Hecarim is a lot stronger early game now, but a bit weaker late game. But don't you want that? Wouldn't you rather be stronger early game than late game? I would, if I was Kha'Zix or Kindred especially. And as Hecarim, it sounds pretty good. So yeah, let's get into this. We're gonna do our tier list, and yeah, let's get into it. Let's go to, there's a lot of different things. Actually, let's do some of these things. So okay, this is like whatever. Turret plates, they're a lot squishier now. Nice. I think. Wait, what? No, they're tankier now. Cool. Fade lights. Yeah, I mean that's pretty good. I thought fade lights were very annoying to play against. In hard elos, I think lower elo players don't abuse it enough, but yeah, I think it's very annoying to play against. Okay, the first jungle change is Bel'Veth. Do you think Bel'Veth will be stronger this patch? Oh, definitely, because when you look at this per stack, this is quite a lot, I would say. I think this is pretty meaningful. I think your scaling is a lot stronger now. So I do think if this champion does get buffed maybe another time or maybe two more times, I think she might be Omega OP. I think right now, I don't think you should play the invading style too much, but I do think, farming along both is pretty good, and you just play for camps and just your stacks. And this helps out a lot, right? 2 damage attack per stack. It's pretty nice. Next change, Briar. This is a nerf, right? Let's see. It looks like she got nerfed. Okay, I don't know why they nerfed her. Oh no, it's a buff. I'm trolling. I'm stupid, sorry. I kind of understood it wrong. Okay, well, I don't know why we're buffing this champ. I think this champion is unhealthy in low elo. I think she's completely OP in lower MMR, but she gets worse the higher you go. And also if top and bar is the way they want to like buffer, yeah, it's toxic because I always thought lane Briar was way stronger than jungle Briar, just because her kit makes more sense in the lane. I don't think she should be sitting there farming camps with these abilities. I think her abilities are really OP in like fighting. So like, why would she not be a good top laner? Data nerf. This is pretty big because one, she got this nerfed, monster damage nerf for her clear, and Dusk and Dawn got nerfed. So pretty big nerf. Same thing with Echo, pretty big. I think they will still be playable, but won't be as OP. I think they're very strong right now. So this apparently, when I was watching Honshu, especially, that's someone I watch for Hecarim. I mean, he's just a lot stronger. I think this champion like is stronger in the early game. I do think your level 5, level 7 is a lot more stronger than it was before, and I think that's pretty crazy to think because his clearing is already decent, and his late game items are already good. His scaling is good. So if they're buffing his early game, I mean, he's just gonna get to the late game faster, and I think this is not the right way to, touch this champion. I feel like, I think he will be very strong. Yeah, they nerfed this champion two patches in a row. I mean, this is just too big. I think he should be dead in jungle. I don't see how two nerf. This second nerf they're due to is clear. I don't know how he's supposed to clear reliably. So, yeah. Kane getting a small nerf or small buff. I mean. And so, what I think about Kane, I think this champion is quite weak. I think Blue Kane is completely useless, and I think Red Kane is a lot stronger. But I mean, you don't really find many Red King angles. I mean, it's just easier to farm as red cane, in my opinion, and just be more useful in general. I think blue cane requires too much. So, and it's kind of a fake nerf. I don't think it'll be as strong. I don't think much will change. Champ is still bad. They're buffing for top lane? Okay, interesting. I'm not reading this whole thing. Small Nefiri buff for jungle. I wonder how their clear is going to be, but I do think if this champion is able to jungle again pretty reliably, I think she would be pretty strong. I do think the current meta is pretty good for her, as it's just farming into fighting, and she's a pretty good fighter, and she abuses the items pretty well, I would say. Also, Endless Hunger is pretty good on her too, so yeah, I mean, honestly, like, she can abuse the items pretty well, so if she does become a jungler again, like, well, she is a jungler, right, but if she actually does gets back in the meta and is a lot stronger, I do think she's very OP. Nunu. Okay. Honestly, like, who cares? Random Trundle buff, nobody knows. Don't think it matters for jungle. Random vibe buff. Yeah, it's a competitive champion. I think champion. It's like if they make the champion too strong in solo queue, she's gonna be ungodly OP and competitive. It's like the only issue with this champion. It's just a complete competitive champion. So, I mean, yeah, this is indirectly buffing it competitive Vi. They're kind of scared to make it OP just because we don't want to see Vi every game in competitive, as like it was kind of like that last year. So yeah, they're kind of scared of touching his champion. Okay, they're dealing with Volibear a bit. Yeah, I do think this champion's a bit toxic. Not gonna lie, when he's strong, especially when he's not playing the ganking version. Volibear's identity always in the past was being more of a ganker, but in recent times, like he's more of a fighter. And he's just like buying like items like Cosmic Drive first item or buying Bruiser items and just like playing to be unkillable and just be able to kill you. I think that's really like toxic. But his like main way you played him before is to be like, okay, you pressure the map, you gank, you make stuff happen, you take drags, and then you're just like a shit stain tank later on. So yeah, I hope he got this champ a bit more to where he's not able to do that. But I mean, I think champ will be just a lot weaker. I mean, they're nerfing a lot of stuff, so I think I don't know why they're buffing Xin Zhao, but I do think this is kind of a crazy buff for Xin, because I already think he's playable right now. I already think he can use the items pretty well. I think because it's kind of a dragon meta, I think grubs are useless and you just play for drakes. I mean, Xin Zhao can just path the bot every game, like every game. Play for dragon, play a fight around dragon, and because they're buffing his fighting stats, I think it's pretty insane. I do think if Shami gets more buffs, he would be very OP. And yeah. And this is the funnest buff of this patch. I think I want to play a lot more Zahen, not like this champion. I mean, just a more fun version of Xin Zhao, no? Like, I think, yeah, everyone should give this champion a try in the jungle. Oh, I really want him to be a jungler, honestly. But, yeah, I'm not sure. If they do buff this champion in jungle, I think it would be very toxic, but I don't mind. I mean, champ seems very fun. High dopamine, so we'll see how it goes. And finally, yeah, we have killed Zedjong. And they finally nerfed it, I think. Yeah, I think people got pretty good at it. So, yeah, I'm glad they nerfed it. Yeah, this item is only... Yeah, I don't know. No one can buy this item in general for jungle. Yeah, Spellblade. You're actually giving it a bit more HP. Why, though? I don't get it. I mean, the item still looks fine. If anything, like, isn't this just better? Oh, I mean, this item will still be OP, I think. So that's why they buffed both the champion and Dusking Dog, because yeah, this does not look like a full-on nerf. I think the item will still be very, very strong. I think this can't be that much, right? 25 base percent. I mean, you're getting more HP, which is very, very nice. That helps out with Riftmaker, Dusking Dawn type of builds. And this Hunger buff is pretty nice, I would say. I mean, 5 extra AD, gotta like it. Yeah, I mean, I think this item is very, very strong. protoplasm. I mean, I don't know which jungle is supposed to buy this, but I mean, this item's like whatever. And then tier 3 boots. Pretty big nerf. Oh, okay, Kappa. Yo, I thought they were gonna nerf this way more when I saw this on the initial patch on Twitter, but then I saw 0.5%. I'm like, oh my god, dude. The cashback is just so OP, by the way. Like, just keep taking cashback. If you play first strike Kha'zix, keep taking it for cashback. Also, when I saw this, I mean, you're still getting a shit ton of value. 580 literally is whatever. You're still getting like almost what 800 something gold value from level 6 elixir, so it's still worth to take if you're playing Inspiration Kha'zix. And that's pretty much it. Okay, let's get into the tier list section of the guide. So this was last patch, before all the changes. So we're gonna have to like tune down a lot of champions, I would say. So I mean, definitely what I'm gonna keep in Z tier, this patch, is definitely Kha'zix. I mean, I don't see why. I mean, his champion is just OP. Like, it's just straight OP. Like he has such a good clear. He has good items, and his fighting is good. And if he's solo AP, I think he's completely broken. Completely broken. Pretty much. And what else are we gonna keep? I think definitely gonna keep Talia. I do think Talia, if you are a good Talia player, I think this champion is definitely worth playing. I think her clear is very good. I think her fighting is good, and also she doesn't mind being double AP. Like Kha'zix. I mean, Kha'zix rather be solo AP always, but Talia doesn't mind if she's double AP, and she can play around setup very hard. I think these two champs are very underrated. I don't know why like people don't play them that much because one, they could be more situational, and two, like they do require some practice to be good at them. And of course, like you're probably thinking like, oh, but Kha'zix is so easy. Well, I've seen plenty of people play Kha'zix, and when they first time it, and they like the way they use passive, the way they kind of like throw the Qs and fight are just used really poorly. So it definitely does take a bit of skill. Every champion takes a bit of skill, even Master Yi, as funny as it sounds. I think Hecarim is going to be the strongest champion, one of the strongest champions on the patch, in my opinion. I think this champion is completely strong. I think him being stronger early and his clear already being good is very strong. And even if he gets invaded, you can always play around it. I've versed Kha'zix in like the rank 1 Hecarim in Korea, and even if he gets invaded, he always finds ways to get camps. And then, you know, Hecarim is a great ganker too. And if you get tempo early game and you get gold, he can always come back in the game, pretty much. Other than that, I think champs like Dana, Volibear, and Echo definitely have gone in a lot weaker. I just don't know how much weaker. I do think they're still going to be strong. So I'm going to think about it while I fill in the tier list a bit more. Jake's jungle, definitely not worth playing. Let's put like some of the dead champions up here. So, not worth playing. Jake's jungle. These two champs are just not worth playing anymore. They're kind of dead in the jungle. I think Briar, I think is pretty strong. I'm going to put him situational. In the right spots if your matchup is good. And of course, I'm not really a Briar player, but I do assume the champs that Briar wants to verse are more like low mobile comps and are pretty bruiser heavy, like pretty tanky. Briar wants to verse. The champion doesn't want to verse champions with a lot of dashing and good percent health damage and stuff. Because I mean we'll just die and get kited. So, you know, if he gets to verse like shit stain tank like Silent Top and they have like Zinzao jungle, I mean Briar just can't be bad in those type of games. I think Cho'Gath is a very underrated jungle to play too. I think being able to go Bandle Pipes first item or just like or something like that, and then like buying like, you know, movement speed items are very OP. So definitely a jungle worth like checking out. It's probably not bad to play. Let's see what other champions we want to put. I think Kha'Zix is that S tier counter pick. If you pick him in the right spots, he's very, very broken. Very, very OP. If you get free matchups, like potentially like Talia is a pretty good matchup for you, Kindred and such, like these are champions that you will completely destroy. I think Graves is more of a situational champion. I think I put him situational right. Yep. I think for Graves, you need to verse more 80 heavy comps. Of course, his grit stacks, his he gives him more now, but it's not that much. Like he still would rather verse 80 heavy champions in general. So He's more of a situational pick. Evelyn not worth playing. Lee Sin, I think, or is like kind of like S counter pick, I would say. Like if you have a good matchup, let's say like they randomly pick Kha'zix, let's say, and you can pick Lee Sin into it, and you have like a LeBlanc, you have like a Syndra, a strong mage pairing with Lee Sin, or like strong like CC pairing, like yeah again like LeBlanc, CC mage, LeBlanc, Lissandra. You know you can completely deny from a Kha'zix playing the game, a Graves playing the game. You know those are ways to kind of pick the champion. Just like how Lilia is very situational too, you know, very counter pick heavy. If they have again, it's like kind of like Briar in a way, but like she's a lot stronger at it. Where if they are very low, like mobility, and they're very skill heavy, low damage, and you can kind of like hide around them with your movement speed. So a lot of shit stains on enemy team. A lot of like melee champions. So Lilia is very strong in those kind of comps. I think Echo. I need to put it A tier, not gonna lie, because I do think A tier makes sense. Okay. A tier. I do think A tier. I think I'm gonna put all the Dusk and Dawn nerfs junglers in here. I think all these champions took a pretty big hit. I mean, I don't see why wouldn't you know like champs like Talia be stronger, even like Hecarim be stronger than these champs. Like I feel like it's kind of free because their items got hits and their clears got hits. So I don't see why they wouldn't be here. There's no way they're S or Z tier, unless like of course they're Dana with a Yasuo, then like she's like a Z S tier champ if it's a really good spot. Same with Volibear. Where's this guy? I think he's also taking a big hit. Personally, I mean, there's no way these champs are up here. Last patch they're up here. You can see. But I don't think they're as strong. Like I put Echo on S tier because I thought Dana and Volibear are a lot stronger than Echo, which I am correct. I do think these champions give way more. I think Echo is a lot more noob killing. Let's add. Gwen actually didn't take a nerf from these champs, so I think Gwen is still up here. I think she's still S tier. I think Gwen is a great champion. I think Dusking Dawn Nashers, Dusking Dawn Riftmaker is probably still good. And she didn't get touched, right? Like, in her nerfs. Like, look, she avoided nerfs. Like, she's chilling. So, don't see why Gwen should not be still strong if you get a tank matchup. Good tank matchup. I think definitely very OP. Kindred. So, I do think I overvalue Kindred's strength, but I'm also like factoring like people playing the champion pretty well. And I'm going to be honest, like when I look at these champions being Z tier, in these champions potentially, I mean, we're gonna see it. I think right now, maybe she's more of a counter pick. If you get a good jungle matchup and you have good enchanting kind of champions on your team with engage, I think she's very OP. But if you don't have that, I think she's not that strong. So in a way, she's situational, but it's like more counter pick. So we might shift her up and down. We'll see. I think Nidalee is in a great spot. I think Nidalee is in a very fantastic spot. I think this champion is stronger than Lee Sin. Also, any put Lee Sin in situational. Like I think these champions are just like way more stronger for counter pick than these. I think Nidalee's in a great spot. Why? Well, I think Echoes of Helia is completely broken on her, and I think the champion's utility is pretty good, I would say. So if you have a really strong ball lane, let's say you do it with your AD carry, or you kind of know like your ball lane's winning against enemy ball lane, I think that's when champion has more value. You can also play with like Renekton mid and such, and I think that's also really good. So that's when you should kind of play her. Kane, I think Keychamp still sucks, not a lie. I think he's still weak. If it's not a Red King game, I think he's weak. So that's my take. I think Blue Kane's completely fake on this champion. And I think the bruiser items that he can abuse, like Endless Hunger, are really OP. I think Blue King can only work if you randomly get a shit ton of kills. Mastery. I think Mastery is completely broken. I'm gonna put him S tier. I think his champion is the Kraken Spike, and considering that like the game is all about clearing camps fast and playing for fights, I think Mastery is fantastic for that. Like if you think about it, he's kind of like Yunara in the jungle. There's a reason why Yunara is very strong in balling because she bows her Kraken and she can just keep fighting with her ults. Yi is literally exactly the same, but in the jungle role. So I think Yi is very OP. If anything, honestly, like Yi should be Z tier. I'm not even joking. I think the champion is completely broken. It's just disgusting in the solo queue environment, in my opinion. And talking about like clearing into like a kind of objective slash fighting, I think Mundos are very good spots. Maybe Z tier, but I think Mundos are worth playing for sure. You just clear down, mess with their balling, get them an advantage, then play for dragons. The rest of the game, I think grubs are weak. I think dragons are OP, so playing for that is very good. Let's check more. We gotta use this as a reference because the only things that really got nerfed from this patch, are like the Dusking Dawn and then like JZ. So put those down a notch and then look at the other champs. Jarvan. So Jarvan. Shaco not worth playing. Completely flip champ. It's not worth playing. Where's Jarvan, man? Oh, let's just put Rengar. I can't find Jarvan. Oh, there it is. Okay, Rengar, Z tier champ. Completely OP if you OTPM. Broken champion. High carry potential, good clear. Uses items really strong, really well. Bastion Breaker, Umbro, all these items really good on him. Jarvan, I think, is pretty good. I think maybe he might be more counter pick. Just because I do think with the meta being a lot more clearing, I think Jarvan, even though he can clear very well, I mean, he's not gonna like scale as hard as these other champs, but I do think if he's put into a comp where they're very mobile, they can't really dash out his ult, that's where he has a lot of value. So, if you get those comps, I think Jarvan's very great. I think Ambessa is in a very great spot. I think champion hasn't got any nerfs, and I think the items are on her very good. And her clear is very good, her fighting is good. Her objective taking is kind of weak. Well, it's not bad, but I think her grub take is better than her dragon take. So, playing for items and just playing for skirmishes, I think Ambessa excels at. So I think she's a very good champion for that. Ivern, S tier counter pick. If you have a melee support like Leona, Alistar, Rel, and you have a matchup that can't really punish you, so I would say, I don't know, your verse. I mean, most of these matchups are kind of bad because most of them will outfarm you later on. But you kind of need like team diff. It's kind of a team diff champ, but let's say versus like Cho'Gath jungle, maybe Mundo jungle is probably not bad. You ideally don't want to verse a champion that can build Serpent's Fang. So ideally AP champions are probably better to verse than AD champions. Now Fury, I think, is a fantastic spot. I think she should be S tier. I think the clear buff is pretty good, and I think she already is not bad. So definitely not a bad champion to play into most of these champions. I think Brand is weak. Maybe situational if you have good setup. And you verse like a lot of short range champions, just like low mobility. I think champion is pretty good, I would say. Okay, this is a champion that hasn't gotten touched, but I do think he's probably very good. I think he's an S tier counter pick. I think if you're Malphite and you're playing against something like Master Yi, maybe even Kha'Zix, maybe even Kindred, maybe even like other AD champions. I think you want to verse AD champion more than AP champ, and you just buy Zeke's and you be an ult bot. I think champion is pretty good for that. I think he has a great clear. I think he's decent. So Jack Stronghold took a nerf because Dusk and Dawn took a nerf, but he probably still abuses it pretty well. Probably wants to verse champions like Graves, maybe even Kindred. Ideally, more auto attacking based because that's where his value kind of comes from his E. So I'd say he's A tier, maybe situational. I think A tier champs you can pick more freely than compared to situational champions, I would say. So honestly, yeah, Lee Sin should be up here. I think Jack should be more situational. I think Nunu, actually I'm not sure about Nunu, not gonna lie, but I mean, dude, ganking champions are just like they just gank, and if like your team is better and you like gank and snowball your lane, that's it. Like I mean, you did your job. There's no like strict like OP ganker in current meta. Like if anything, I would say Elise is just better to play over Nunu. Uh, in every way possible. I feel like I think Elise can just walk in jungle level 1, level 2, just cheese camps and then just play for ganking and then into dragon, like translate the lead into dragon. I think it's just OP. Scar's not worth playing. And Nocturne's not bad. I think it's situational though. No, I don't think it's S tier counter pick. I think you do need champions like Orianna and Aurora to play with. You can build like full lethality, you can go bruiser. Both are completely fine. They do need to be very killable enemy team. They don't have like too much like defense. I don't know, like let's say they have like TK Galio. Like I don't think you ever want to play Nocturne into that kind of comp. Like TK support Galio mid. It's kind of FF, so they need to have like the least protection possible. I think Belveth, honestly. Yeah, actually, I'm not sure for this one. For sometimes I can't be sure because I do think she needs more buffs. So honestly, I think she's still weak, but maybe she's actually the A tier or S tier. Maybe because full clear on her, it might be OP. But her scaling is a bit better now than before. Let's go back to the reference points. Yeah, Hecarim was already, I felt like, up here, so I think he's a lot stronger now. Zahen jungle, my goat. This champion has to be S tier. There's just no way. And if this champion's S tier, I think Xin Zhao is like A tier probably. Because, I mean, I think Zahen is just a better version of Xin Zhao in solo queue. Honestly, I think he has higher carry potential compared to Xin Zhao. Does. I think Xin Zhao is more competitive champion overall. But I think, yeah, if you want to play something like Xin Zhao, just play Zahen jungle. I think champion's very strong. Just go Triforce and just play the fight. I think he's very OP for that. I think Aatrox jungle is probably A tier. I think he can't really deal with some of these champions, but I think he's not bad. He's a stable pick. I think he's pretty good. S tier kind of big fiddle. I think champion is completely OP in the right spots. You do need to have very aggressive lanes, and so you can look to ult them. You do need to be protected a bit early game, so you can actually play the game later on with your ult. And yeah, I mean, Fiddle just has the surprise factor. He's kind of like a Malphite. He kind of surprises you with the ultimate, and that's it. He's like shows up. A Mumu, I think is pretty weak. I think more of a low elo champ. But I do think, yeah, I don't know. I think champion is like, it's better to play these champions. Hall of Jungle is weak. Salvage Jungle is weak. Fire Jungle is honestly like weak. Honestly, it's like situational. I mean, kind of like Nocturne. If they don't have like champs that are OP into Vi like Galio and like TK, let's say, those are two prime examples, and you can always dive into their backline, I think it's like worth to play. Otherwise, it's not. I think Talon Jungle is actually underrated. I think Loki is like S tier. He's honestly like kind of there. Like if you're like a Shaco player, you want to play champs like Shaco or something, you must well play Talon. Talon's just way better than as a AD assassin, kind of like semi flip compared to every other assassin in the game. Like he's pretty good, pretty high carry potential if you play him Paladin well. Zara jungle. I think Zara jungle is pretty good, I would say. I think it's probably A tier. I think she kind of loses to some of these champions, that's why. And her strength is like to clear fast and then look to invade. Because she's not really good objective taker. She kind of needs her team. She's a better ganker. Kha'zix is a better farmer for sure. He can like farm anything on the map, but Zara wants to more gank after her full clear. So that's like my take. I think Kha'zix is way better. Tilia can do everything too. She can gank and farm. That's why I like Tilia a lot. I think Patch Jungle. No, he's like Xin Zhao. It's just a shit stain. If you need to just gank for your lanes and just play for team, pick these champions. Really good for that. Poppy, S tier counter pick. You have these guys like blind pick Rengar, they didn't ban it. Blind pick Kha'zix, they didn't ban it. Jarvan, I mean, just play Poppy jungle. It's just good. S tier counter pick. Udyr is just weak in my opinion. I think this champion sucks. I think Viego is always good. I think if you're able to skirmish and clear, I think, okay, to me, a champion that's strong in current meta is a champion that can clear his camps pretty fast and can fight. Usually. So Viego fits that description, no? So Viego to me is very good. Wukong, I think situational. I think if you have a good matchup and they're like fairly AD heavy, I guess he struggles against AP champions because you know his passive is more armor based. Yeah, he probably is not bad. But if you get like counterpick by like a Lilia, I mean it's like literally torture to play against Lilia and like Gwen. You literally can't play the game, so kind of need to be able to dive and into enemy comp. They don't have too much like peel. I think Zac jungle is underrated. I actually think he's OP. But I swear Zac players are just so noob at this champ. And also, if you're doing it in beta, I mean, your game's just ruined. But I do think if we get to like your one item pretty like safely, you get your 2 item, your 3 item, I think this champion is completely OP. I do think people have a lot of different takes on this champion for builds, but I do think rushing like Bomby Zeeks, I think Zeeks is OP on this champion. That's like my take. I think Bomby into Zeeks has to be OP. And I think Zeeks is a very good item right now. Then again, Rek'Sai, if you want to play ganker, I think champs like Rek'Sai are way better to play. Rek'Sai, Zinza, you know, these champs are better to play than like any of these other kind of random gankers. I think champion's not bad if you want to just gank. Champion's just not worth playing. Morgana is like a S tier counter pick. I mean, you can counter pick like Vi. Probably okay into like Karthus maybe. Pretty good into Fiddle, probably not bad. Why play Warwick when you can play Master Yi? Not much to say about that. I think why play Rammus when you can play better ganking junglers? Pretty weak. I think Kiana has seen better days, but still a good assassin jungler to play. Definitely up there. I would rather play Talon over Kiana in my opinion. I think you have to be a complete OTP to play this champion now. I think if you're not OTPing her, she's not that good. Like, not everyone can just play her, I feel like, anymore. You actually have to be good at the champion. Which is how it should be. I don't know why it shouldn't be like that. Now we're playing Sejuani, which is not good. In solo queue at least. Unless you duel with like a player who plays melee champions in your solo lanes, it's not worth playing. What else is there, guys? You have Twitch jungle? You want Twitch jungle? Just don't play Fish jungle. That shit was never good. Same with Gragas jungle, never worth playing. Just play Dana if you're gonna play Gragas. If you want to play with Yasuo. I don't know why you wouldn't play with Dana over Gragas ever in the last like 3 years or something. Champion has been trash for a long time. It's like not worth the effort, you know? Like the higher the tier list the champion is on tier list, the less effort you kind of have to put compared to these champions. Like these champions are just like not worth playing. Like these take too much to work, while these champions are a lot easier to work with. Honestly, I pretty much it. I mean, I don't see what else I'm missing. But I could be completely trolling. Someone calls me out in the comments. Like, it's happened before in the past. But either way, this is what I think the tier is going to be. I think you're about to see me play some Master Yi in solo queue on stream. I'm going to try to stream a lot more, starting from sometime end of this week towards next week, because I had the most messed up sleep schedule. So, you know, we're back. I'm going to be streaming a lot of different type of champions, and then I'm going to keep streaming my Kha'Zix Challenger. Right now it's around Master tier, so, you know, we're playing mainly only Kha'Zix unless it's banned. Of course, it's banned a lot for some reason, so yeah, otherwise, you know, this is what I think the tier list is. If you guys have any questions, let me know down in the comments below. And, you know, just play these S tier champs, play the Z tier champs, and kind of avoid the weak and some of the situational champions are, I think, are not worth playing. I do think there are better champions than those that you can play in the other tiers on the tier list, so, you know, try them out. Check out my second channel, where I'll be posting champion kind of like educational long format video guides on the champions itself. I'm going to do that for every single jungle champion on the second channel. Check out my third channel, which is of kind of checking out good solo queue players, seeing what they do different compared to everyone else to climb on the solo queue ladder. And then my main channel will be filled with educational guides you can always check out. By the way, like and subscribe. Check the links down in the description below for other channels, for other content. Otherwise, enjoy your climb. And this is a pretty good patch. It's pretty healthy. So, cheers.